And it happened by one of the worst things that I thought was going to happen in my life, like tearing a tendon and, in the shoulder to the pec. And them telling me, oh, we have 4-6 months, keep your right arm in a sling. It's like, what the hell am I going to do for work for the next 4 to 6 months with my right arm in a sling? And there, it was like, I was arm wrestling somebody, and he's holding like that, where he wouldn't let me get him down, so I did that quick little shoulder twist to finish him off. It was like a little rubber band pop, and I was like, ooh, I don't think that was right. Then the next day, whole bicep purple, chest purple, and then all the way down to the wrist started turning purple, and I couldn't move my arm. Go to the doctor. They, say, all right, we'll go see the surgeon, see if you need surgery. That's when he looked at it. He goes, man, honestly, it'll heal. And insurance ain't going to cover your surgery. I thought the worst thing happened to me was the tearing a tendon. It became the greatest thing that ever happened in my life, honestly.
What's up, guys? We're here for another episode of the Discipline and Legacy podcast. I got my boy John Mckay, local from the area, local guy, came in. He's just born and raised here, but he started a peptide clinic recently. Yeah, and he's got an amazing story. Similar background to me, and just kind of changed his life, transformed his life, and wanting to do better, help people. Yeah. And I appreciate you coming today, man.
I appreciate you getting me on here and stuff. I mean, we talked about it for a little while. We were trying to get it set up. I really wanted to get the store get going and everything, because it's the fourth one I've opened, and it's, it takes a little while to get the people in, get them trusted that you're actually got the legit products.
Right.
Because there's so many people ordering their stuff off TikToks and then getting, boxes from China, and they don't know, they don't test, they sell them out, and they can sell them for super cheap, but then all of a sudden that next batch comes and everybody's like, I'm not feeling anything anymore.
Not getting what you're supposed to be.
Yeah, and the testing, is the most important part, and that's like what I focus on every batch. Everything just gets tested like that. So, and I like it just because it's like, man, you can see people's whole entire lives change. Like I got a guy down 160 pounds.
Wow.
I've gotten 20, 30 people off blood pressure medications, cholesterol medications, It's a real interesting world. It's something I never thought I would get into, and just, and it happened by one of the worst things that I thought was going to happen in my life, like tearing a tendon and, in the shoulder to the pec. And them telling me, oh, we have 4-6 months, keep your right arm in a sling. It's like, what the hell am I going to do for work for the next 4 to 6 months with my right arm in a sling? And
so you tore the whole pec.
No, it didn't disconnect, but it's like right here. You kind of see it droops.
Yep.
So it's right where that bicep and there. It was like
right
I was arm wrestling somebody, and he's holding like that, where he wouldn't let me get him down. So I did that quick little shoulder twist to finish him off. It was like a little rubber band pop, and I was like, ooh, I don't think that was right. Then the next day, whole bicep purple, chest purple, and then all the way down to the wrist started turning purple, and I couldn't move my arm. Go to the doctor. They say, all right, we'll go see the surgeon, see if you need surgery. That's when he looked at it. He goes, man, honestly, it'll heal. And insurance ain't going to cover your surgery. So, I say just keep it in a sling at least 4 months, do your physical therapy and stuff like that. I can't use my right arm for 4 months. Like, I do physical work at the time.
Right.
I was with some grows up in California. We have legal grows, and we were doing that, and, constantly having to pick up things and move things. And I invest in it, but I actually need to be part of it too. I can't just not help at all. So I'm like, how the hell is this going to work? Like I have a job to do every day.
Yeah.
So, and then I had heard Joe Rogan say, man, anytime you get injured, BPC 157, TB 500. So I was like, I was sitting in the doctor's office, and I was watching this YouTube video of this guy. He was a physical therapist. And he talked about people with he specialized in hamstrings. And he said,
that's the only thing I've ever torn was a hamstring.
Yeah, and he said he was watching 50-year-old men heal 5 times quicker than 18, 22-year-old athletes with the same injuries to their hamstrings using the BPC 157.
Yeah.
So I'm like, right after I watched that video, I was like, I just ordered a bunch from one of these peptide companies. I looked into them, seemed pretty trustable, did my research. I'm pretty good about where to search, and then see if what their reviews are, not on their site, but by other people. Legit site, ordered a few kits of it. I was like, let's give it a try. Every day my arm was just getting up more and more. By the 2.5 weeks, I was able to get it back over my head again. So I was lightly getting things moving up and stuff. I was like, okay. And my mom's had rheumatoid arthritis for a long time.
It helps with arthritis too.
Yeah, and her hand, she couldn't open a bottle cap on, So I was like, hey, Mom, I got this stuff. I'm going to mail it to your house. Teach you how to mix it, Just do these shots in your stomach. Let's see if it'll help your. Because I was buying her every supplement you could think of. You know, I was having her juice turmeric and ginger. You know,
There's really nothing for arthritis. I mean, that you can think, not on the common market that's out right now, but I mean, peptides definitely.
even she was getting the prescriptions and they weren't.
Yeah.
You know, they were just giving her side effects and they're like, oh well, oh yeah, it's causing indigestion and here's this pill for this and stuff. So I was like, stop. And Tylenol and ibuprofen.
Yeah.
I mean,
Horrible.
most people know how bad that is now. Like I mean, a person that takes ibuprofen or Tylenol every day has a worse liver than an alcoholic.
Dude,
like,
I get heartburn from it every time I take it, and so I just stop. I'm like, I deal with the headache or deal with whatever.
well, most people don't know. You take some good salt, some Celtic salt, something like that. You just throw it under your tongue when you have a headache. Let it sit there for like 30, 40 seconds, and then chug some water. 10, 15 minutes later, the headache's gone.
That's the first thing I do is water. Because normally dehydration it contributes to headaches.
But getting that salt under your tongue gets it into the bloodstream real quick. And then you
just
get that water in there, the water holds. So that's the main thing. Get electrolytes. That's why you people think, oh, I drink a bunch of water. I'm like, well, what electrolytes are you getting?
Right.
I don't. Well, what do you mean? I'm like, you can drink as much water as you want. If you don't have anything to hold that water, you're just going to the bathroom more often.
And most of the water is purified with you know, they inject, they put stuff back in it for like taste, but it's not the same thing.
And I like that lady that died, you know, the hold your pee, who could drink the most water and hold their pee. And she died of dehydration. Yeah, because she drinks so much water. Yeah, it happened. It's pretty, like, anybody can Google it, it'll pop it up right away. Person dies radio contest drinking water. Yeah, and died of dehydration from drinking too much water. People don't know. It's just, you know, you don't have that electrolytes or something in there. Carbohydrates will hold a lot of water in the body too. And that's why, like, when people get on keto, they lose so much weight so quick because every 1 gram of carbohydrate you eat holds 4 grams of water in the body. So you cut all them carbs out, all of a sudden your water weight goes down fast. Like your body has about 2 days stored up glucose in the system. So after about 2 days on keto, you've burnt up all your carbohydrate. You have no more glucose in the body. So all that water it was holding is gone. And that's why people on keto are like, man, I dropped 10 pounds the first week. I'm like, yeah, I can go sit in the sauna and do that too, you know.
Water weight.
Yeah,
That's somebody told me that. I mean, some folks don't understand even with muscle, like the healthily in the most health filled way, the human body can only get like 12 to 15 pounds of muscle per year.
Yeah.
And that's even people that are on growth hormone or whatever with the bulking and cutting cycles. But
well, that follistatin, and I can't get it, and it's a peptide, and it bypasses that. And it's supposedly, I've been trying to get it, I've been looking into it. It's like, it becomes like limitless of what you can get. And I think that's what some of those freaks, them real big. And I think a lot of bodybuilders.
But what are the side effects? And
yeah, I haven't seen, like, I tried to get it. I wanted to get it just because I've had a few people ask me about it. Like they see it. It's like, it uncouples the amount that limitation that you have for muscle growth. And some people have a limitation. And that's why there's some, you know, people that can never really gain that much muscle and they hit the gym hard. They take their testosterone. They're doing all their protein. They still, you know, some people have more of a limit to what their muscle will grow, where other people are just freaks.
Yeah.
And, you know, those people that just barely work out, go in there and 315 on the bench and it's nothing to them. And it's like, how the hell? Everybody's just got different genetics. And what we're learning now is a lot of people have different peptides in the system. Like, there's people that age, they're 50, they look great. GHK is a big responsibility for your collagen in the skin in your body. From the age of 18 to 40, you're losing 50% of the production of the GHK in your body. So just getting something like that back into the system is going to keep your collagen level up. Now your collagen's making more collagen because that's all it is. It tells your body to make more collagen. And that collagen protein is all a lie. You know, people drink collagen protein. Your body doesn't drink collagen protein and make collagen out of it. Your body gets protein in the body, disassembles it, and makes its own proteins out of it. And that's what peptides are.
Right.
So, and then every study that ever showed that drinking collagen protein was going to help your skin and stuff like that were all paid for and done by the person selling the product.
That's like, and then usually that collagen protein is like it's crushed up like bone.
But the body, it's like saying I'm going to eat my fingernails so I can grow better fingernails now. It's like, well, no, your body's not going to take your fingernails and grow better fingernails with it. No, your body's going to take proteins in, and you want to get your branched chain amino acids, your BCAAs, your EAs, healthy proteins. And that's one thing, like, I'm more like, when I come in, I'm not just like, here's these peptides, walk away. I tell people, like, listen, these peptides will get you in that area you need to go, but you need to do the work too.
Right.
Like, I tell people all the time, like Retatrutide, probably one of the greatest peptides there is. But if you're on a carnivore diet with Retatrutide, you're missing out 90% of the benefits of it, because Reta loves glucose, but it doesn't like to get it spiked. So it doesn't want, a cake and things like that. It wants something like a slow glycemic burning sugar, like an apple. Like if you eat an apple, that apple takes about 4 hours to release all the sugar into the bloodstream. As in, if you eat a banana, you're talking in 10 minutes, all the sugar in that banana has already gone into your bloodstream. Same with berries. So that's where I start with people. Like, start your day off with some apples, blackberries, blueberries, raspberries. Reta will love you. And I get a lot of people like, well, I like the intermittent fasting, so I don't eat until this certain time. I'm like, intermittent fasting only works because you're limiting calories. Right. It actually doesn't do anything for the body. But it doesn't do anything for your body. It's not beneficial. Fasting is the greatest thing you could ever do for your body.
My understanding is that fasting is you'll eat muscle before it eats fat, right?
Yeah. Well, so it takes 4 minutes to liquefy lean muscle and turn it into energy. It takes 4 hours to liquefy fat and turn it into energy. But that's why Red is working so well, and that's why the bodybuilders and things are, because it puts you in that fasting state at all times. So the body's always starting to have fat liquefied ready for energy, even if you have food in the stomach. And that's why it works so much better with tirzepatide. Everybody loses more weight on tirzepatide in those first 2 months. But what happens is they're an overeater. They jump on this GLP-1 that kills their appetite. They don't eat for 2 months. Well, okay, yeah, the body starts to lose a lot of weight. Yeah. But then they notice, oh, yeah, I did lose a lot of muscle and everything like that, too. Red is more of a slow, you're not going to lose those huge pounds in the first 2 months.
They were talking about the red or the tirzepatide, like even like women, their faces would droop and stuff because it's taking the muscles from it was taking the muscles from their face. Or like you'd see somebody who was on it, they're real skinny, but their face looks
that Ozempic face. The Ozempic was the worst. And I don't even know how Ozempic's still on the market. It makes no sense to me. Except that Pfizer owns it, and Pfizer's
so that was like, were those released like in tiers?
Yeah, so Ozempic came out first, and what they did is there was a lizard called a Gila monster. A Gila monster bites its prey, paralyzes its prey. Well, they took a protein out of that. And what it did is they learned this protein would go to your GLP-1 and kind of paralyze your GLP-1 to slow your digestive down. And that's all it's doing. So now it's telling the stomach digest food slow. And what people don't understand is our body's always done this. Wintertime, we are sending a peptide to tell the body, slow down the digestive. We don't have that much food. When we eat, we need to digest slow. We don't want to feel hungry all the time. Springtime comes, summertime comes, you send another one. You want your GLP-1 sensor to speed up. You want to digest food super fast.
Yeah.
So you want to have, so you can eat and then eat again, because, you go 300 years ago, you go 100,000 years ago, we needed to put on as much weight in spring and summer as we could, because we were going to lose it in the fall and the winter.
Yeah.
And it happened, and that's how our bodies are built.
Adapted.
And now all of a sudden, the last 100 years, we have food all the time.
Yeah.
So now our GLP-1 sensor just is like, let's just digest food as fast as we want if you aren't controlling yourself. So the body already has these peptides that do these things. So, that's what was weird with Ozempic. It wasn't like a real peptide of like, tirzepatide is actually telling the GLP-1 sensor to slow down how the body naturally would. But Eli Lilly owns it. Pfizer's such a bigger company than it. But what happened was some people's stomachs started completely getting paralyzed, or the digestive was so slow the food would rot in their stomach.
Wow.
And then it would give a lot of, bowel issues and stuff like that. Stomachs completely paralyzed, bunch of people went blind. It's up to 2.5. Really? People can look it up. It's Nordex, the company that made semaglutide.
Yeah.
Pfizer owns it. It's about a $2.5 billion lawsuit they're going after just because of how many people went blind, stomach completely paralyzed.
And is that because of overdosing, or is it just taking it normally? Hit them the wrong way.
It just hit them the wrong way. It was you put a venom into your body that paralyzed your stomach, and that venom went to the eyes. And like when you're playing with a venom, like you're taking a venom and putting it into your body. It's a very different thing than taking something that's more of like a natural peptide that our body already creates, And there's other peptides that do things that aren't the exact one that we make, but is a fraction of it. So there might be, 60 chain amino acid. What they found this, 8 chain that's actually really doing the job, like a C-Link. A C-Link is one of my favorite ones to get people on for stress and anxiety. I've helped people get off SSRIs with it, Prozacs, all that stuff. I've helped just people with better moods. Like, I had one mom, she's like, I didn't really notice it worked that great until the end of the week. I realized I didn't yell at my kids one time for not doing their homework right. You know, and she was like, I used to just like get so mad at him because, you know, what do you mean you don't understand that? And then she was like, I was like, oh no, baby, it's like, and that's when she really noticed, like, oh, I could see a big difference. And what's great with it is you take it for a month and then you take a break. And it still has its effects because your body has a peptide that goes to the GABA receptor in the brain, and it's how you control your stress and anxiety. Some people have that, and we know a person that just, it doesn't matter, everything can be falling apart around them. They're like, we're going to get this figured out. And there could be people that everything's going great and one little thing's wrong, and they're like, no, everything sucks and I hate everything. So it's like some people just have more of these peptides in the body, you know, and they can control their stress, anxiety, and then, you know, the CMAX, and there's so many to go into. I think
psychology's involved in it too, a little bit too, right? Because, I mean, if you're, what was that, the blind studies or whatever, I remember I took psychology and sociology in college, and they were like, you know, the Skittle, right? That's, I could give you don't know it's a Skittle, but I could hand it to you and tell you, you know what, this is going to make you feel better. You're going to, you know, lose weight and do all these things, and you take it and you're like, it's a Skittle. It's not going to do any of that stuff, but because you think it and believe it, like it's going to help you to get through. But I think that works psychologically with the stuff that does, you know, peptides that do work for your body as well, because then not only are you feeling the difference, but you're seeing it. You're seeing results as well. And you're like, wow, nothing else in my life has helped me to lose weight as faster or actually see muscle definition.
Well, no, the placebo effect is 100% real, and that's why every study's done by a double-blind placebo test, because the brain is so powerful. If it believes it's doing something, your brain can make things happen. Like our bodies can control, and that's, I mean, like I like history. I love like pyramid thing, like, and then you know you go back into there. I think these people knew how to control their brain and you know and do things. I mean, I don't want to get too with the pyramids and stuff, but it's just like, I feel like there was some real stuff back then that they knew how to control his brain a lot more than what we know too. But
there was everything. I think there was more technology, and we're just now starting to get into that too with like AI and stuff, like being smarter through.
Yeah, well, AI is going to make people dumber.
Unless you know how to use it.
No, but I mean, it's going to cause you to never really need to learn anything. You're just going to ask it, and then the answer is going to come up. And it's like, you're not going to actually need to learn it. I mean, I use it so much for peptides, and, you know, I like to go down the rabbit hole of what are people on Reddit saying? What are other people saying? What are people saying that didn't get the effects of it? You know, and then try to find out why they didn't get the effects of it. Because we were speaking earlier about MOTS, and like some people, man, they take MOTS-C. Like when I took MOTS-C, I was hiking, and I was up in Northern California. It's about 2,000 foot incline. You're going up and down. I mean, I killed myself to get to 42 minutes to get up to the sign. It was a big U for the Ukiah. I mean, I started at like an hour. I was at 42 minutes after a while. I was crushing. I was like, then I read this forum about a guy. He was a cyclist. He said he did MOTS-C. Every week he was on MOTS-C, he had a new personal record cycling. And he wasn't pro, but he was competitive. And I was like, wow, let me try this. I shaved 6 minutes off in 8 weeks. Bro. And I mean, I couldn't move 42. It was like weeks at 42, 43. And then all of a sudden, I'm down to 36 minutes getting up there. And then I had all my spots where I would take a little rest. Then it would be only the spot. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, it was like straight up to the top. And it was like,
I don't need this one. Yeah, I'm going to skip this one. Bro, that's exactly what's going on with me right now. And I've been probably 3 weeks on now. And I'm like in the gym in the mornings, like definitely pushing myself further, doing more cardio and stuff. And like I could feel that I'm sore every day. I'm much sore, but obviously if I must have either been at a plateau or if I'm sore, then I'm doing stuff that I haven't been, you know, I'm taking it to another level. So
yeah, the thing with MOTS is it's like the harder. And so MOTS-C is naturally in the body, right? Your body creates MOTS-C. It's the exact same peptide that your body creates. Your body creates that peptide, and the same thing. And everybody needs, like, what I try to explain to people, don't look at their body as the last 100 years. Look at 180,000 years of a body. 50,000 years ago, you're hunting a deer. You go chase this deer, you're running around, you're trying to get them, you start to fatigue. The worst thing that can happen is you go, I'm getting tired, I got to give up.
Right.
Because that means I just burned 600 calories, didn't get the deer, lost weight. So what your body did is release MOTS-C into the system, and that's the second wind. Everybody's experienced that. You're out playing a sport, all of a sudden now you have more energy than before you started.
Yep.
Especially when you were younger. It was, the second wind was huge for people. So that's what it was for. It was to keep releasing extra MOTS-C in until you got that deer, because the worst thing that could happen is you burn up 1,000, 1,200 calories and then didn't get that animal that you were chasing or whatever you were going after when we were hunter, gatherer type people, So that MOTS-C was getting released to just keep giving you more energy. And that's my problem with the gym right now is once I hit an hour and a half, I don't want to leave. But I'm on a super stack of a bunch of different mitochondrial stimulant peptides, SS31, which is repairing the mitochondria. I'm doing the MOTS-C, and then I'm doing the SLU-PP332, which is another mitochondrial stimulant. And it's like, I get to 2 hours, it's like, man, I know I got to get to work, or somebody's calling. Like this guy on Sunday wanted me to come meet him, and I'm like, he's like, can we do 2? I'm like, I wanted 3 hours. I went a little over 3 hours in the gym. I'm like, that was my thing. And I was like, I can do 3. He's like, oh, can we do like 2? I was like, how about 220? And that gave me right around 2 hours and 45 minutes in there. And I started, in the last 20 minutes, it was me supersetting.
Yeah.
This over here, hit abs, back to the, back, what was it, the chest workout. So back to the chest, straight back to abs, straight back to chest, straight back to, it was like, oh, I just want to keep going. I just want to keep crushing this workout. And it was like, because it's that body releasing, and the body is thinking that this exercise is me trying to get food. Your body doesn't realize that, because we didn't exercise 50,000 years ago. People were doing push-ups and, Billy, like your exercise was life. Like your life was tough. You're running around. You're constantly moving around. The last thing you did was do exercise just to burn calories off, because calories were hard to get. So your body, once you pump, and I pump a lot of MOTS-C into the body. So I'm a 10 milligram 6 days a week if I'm going to go to the gym 6 days a week type of person. And then I'll do 15 milligrams someday if I know I'm going to really hit a big workout. And then I'll do about
Pre-workout or?
No, I'm not a big pre-workout. I like my BCAAs. I like my creatine.
No, I meant what do you do the MOTS-C prior to working out?
Oh yeah, well, first thing in the morning on a fast.
So do you do, and let's talk about that too, because like obviously some things are better to take in the evening. Sometimes some things are better to take in the morning.
Yeah. MOTS has about a 2-day lifespan. So it really doesn't need to be taken every day. Okay. You can take it 3 times a week, 4 times a week, whatever. MOTS-C will last in the system. It's there. It's not going to fade. About after 3 days, it's gone. And that's what I explain with NAD too. A lot of people, they go get those IVs. They get 500 milligrams injected into the vein. Well, that NAD is going to get, you got 500 milligrams. That's a lot.
That's a week.
You're going to feel great.
Yeah.
But it's only going to last a few days, and all of a sudden that NAD starts to fade out the system and just goes out.
I was with a NAD 1000. I read somewhere, and that's how I've been taking it.
It's all how your cells hold it.
Once a week.
Yeah, and it's all how your cells can hold it. Now, some people's cells can't hold the NAD good at all, and that's where 5-amino-1 comes in. And that's the one there. And now I've been upping my dose of the 5-amino, and now I'm really, like my 2 milligrams a day is like, so now I'm starting to do 1 milligram a day for certain people, especially if they're not feeling as much off of it. And you can do a lot less NAD with the 5-amino, because 5-amino is another peptide your body makes. It's there to create more NAD in the system and keep it in the cells. So think of it as like your cells have little holes that leak NAD. 5-amino just plugs those in. So it keeps it in there.
And that's a mitochondrial stimulant as well, right? NAD?
Yeah, NAD is huge for the mitochondria. Yeah. I mean, if there is no NAD in the cell dies immediately.
Right.
So your mitochondria is all focused on cells, because you're breaking a cell apart, getting ATP out of that cell and turning that cell into energy. And that is how our body works, the mitochondria works. And a lot of people don't know what the mitochondria is. It's basically the whole engine in your body, and it's everywhere in your body. You're breaking down cells for energy like that. And I simplify a lot of people for like metabolism, like your metabolism's slow. But what's actually happening is your mitochondria is slow. Your mitochondria is not functioning correctly. So a lot of times I like to say, let's start SS31. We can do that for a 4-week cycle. We can go a 2 milligram light dose, or go 4 or 5 milligrams per day. Do that for about a month. Let's repair the whole mitochondria, how it's working. And you can go into the science of it, bunch of words people aren't going to understand. But what it does is it just gets the mitochondria functioning correctly. Then you can add the MOTS in after that. Now the mitochondria is working good. You add this MOTS in. Now, once the body feels it needs extra energy, that MOTS released, the mitochondria is working better. It's like adding nitrous to to a supercharged car. That nitrous, it just kicks it into super gear. And a lot of people don't experience MOTS, and Like if you have a physical job, you're out there working all day. And that was one of the early on. So I used to just sell it out at the house. So like back to where I started, like I inject it, I give it to my mom. And I mean, within 3 days, she calls me. She goes, "Hey, I'm outside gardening for the first time in 5 years." Well, I'm like, "Mom, stop gardening. It's going to take time. It feels good because BPC 157 gets inflammation out quick. Yeah, quick. A problem is it didn't heal yet. The TB 500 needs to get the healing done. So BPC 157 creates new blood vessels and connects fibers, things like that. TB 500 is really the real deal
and
thing.
Anti-inflammatory effects of both.
Yeah, well, but that's the new blood vessel gets a lot of inflammation out of the body. The TB 500 is actually the cellular migration. These are the cells that go to heal. So any injury your body has, your body releases thiamine beta, sends it to those areas to heal. So if you tear something, that's what's healing it. Is you're having TB sending cells there, healing that injury. Now, if you can get a lot of it in that body, you can get a lot more healing and get it done faster. The BPC 157 is going to get the inflammation down, though. And that's the biggest point. Every doctor will tell you, your ankle's hurt. What do? You ice it, you elevate it, get the inflammation out. It'll heal quicker. You got it because you got to get that inflammation out. So TB by itself doesn't work great because it's inflamed. So the cells don't get in there and do the healing correctly. The BPC 157 gets that inflammation out, the new blood vessels, tissue repair, and then you get the healing part, the real healing part, the TB, the cells that are meant to just reattach and reconnect everything. And those two combined. So I told her, I was like, just leave off your hands for like a week. Just keep doing it. And then about a month, she called me and she's like, all the knobs on her knuckles were starting to go just so much smaller because she had all the big knobs on there and everything. And it was funny, about a week and a half later, she called me. She goes, "Hey, does this have anything to do with like your stomach?" I was like, "Wow." She's like, "I've been going to the bathroom so much better." I'm like, "Well, BPC 157 is made in the stomach. And it's really good for IBS, any stomach issues, things like that." So it's like the side effect from healing her hands was that her stomach and she's going to the bathroom better.
She's getting benefits from it, not
and
side
that's
effects.
all these peptides.
Yeah.
Like people, like I had a nurse take Mot C.
Would you say that that's why the modern medicine is kind of not banning it, but kind of holding back from these things coming out?
No, it's simple as this. Pfizer, Moderna, Eli Lilly, they are corporations meant to make money. If I can heal you and get you healthy, how do I make money off you by selling you medications for you being unhealthy? I can't, So I need to keep you alive and unhealthy as possible if I want to make as much money. And if I'm a CEO in America, we are legally obligated as a CEO to make your shareholders as much money as you can. That's your job as the CEO legally. You can't do something to the company that could cause the shareholders to lose money. Legally not allowed to do. So that's where it gets suspicious. Like, how can we never find real cures for cancer? And the things that we give people make you guys so much money, but they're businesses. And at the end of the day, I don't think that every person in there is an evil person, but the guy who's running the company needs to make the company the most money. And if they release these peptides, and let's say I had a guy worked at a lumber yard, meniscus or rotator, tearing a rotator cuff. Send him to the doctor, MRI. Yeah, you're going to need surgery. Dude looks in his surgery. He's like, it's a less than 50-50 chance that this surgery is actually going to make my shoulder better. Like I've read the format. You're going to tell me 8 months, 9 months not using it, physical therapy, and then my shoulder might still be in the same pain. He comes to the office. He's like, "Hey man, I've heard about this. He was my really good friend, business partner type. I'm half, and then I have like one of my best friends, and a whole group of us over in California, me and two brothers, real close. And I was like, well, let's start the business. So we went half. I own half. They all own half. And it was his friend. He's like, "Yeah, man, I told you, heal John's shoulder, stuff like that. Go try it." He does it for 4 weeks. No pain in his shoulder. He's back to just complete nothing. Goes back to work. He's like, "My shoulder's fine." He's like, "Well, we got to go get another MRI. We got to see. Do another MRI. No tear in the rotator cuff. Rotator cuff's completely healed. Now, there you can go on Reddit. You could see 100 different stories of the same exact thing happening where somebody has a tear, not a complete tear. If it's a detached, you're going to have to get that attached. But if there is a tear, it will and it'll do it within 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I mean, I had a guy with a meniscus. He rolled it, knee swelled up.
Would you say you're going to go higher dosage with stuff like that when you're
Yeah,
trying to
and
heal?
a lot of people underdose. I'm a big believer, hit it hard in the beginning, 1 milligram of each every day. You know, you can do TB by itself and then do BBC every day and do TB 2 to 3 times a week. And so to me, it's just easier. 1-to-1 ratio, 1 milligram of each in the morning, 1 milligram of each at night. Maybe it's a little overkill. Maybe 750 micrograms of each would do good, or maybe, you know, 1 milligram of BPC and 750 micrograms. But I've just seen 1 milligram of each work twice a day to where people within 10 days, complete shoulders hurting them for 5 years, no shoulder pain anymore, never have to take it again.
Yeah.
So to me, and then I've seen people who try to do the lower dose. Well, I don't want to spend all that money. I don't want to do it twice a day. They do the low dose. I want to make this pin last, the half the amount of pin that I tell somebody to do in 10 days. They're trying to make that. So a 40 milligram is what I usually sell. You're doing 2 milligrams twice a day. 10 days, pin's gone. Well, I got some people are like, well, let me get the 20 milligram bottle, and then I'm just going to make that last 20 days. Well, at the end of 20 days, shoulder feels a little better, a little hurt. So then they get another one. Now shoulder still hurts, feels a little better. Now they're getting another one. I'm like, man, if you would have just did it all in a short amount of time. But the problem is healing. Every time your body's always healing every injury, but you're always re-injuring it. If your shoulder hurts, you reach up in the cabinet and you're like, ooh, that hurt. You just re-injured it a little more. Now you're sleeping at night, you're healing a little bit. You back up in the middle, re-injured a little. If you can get it to be completely healed, now you don't have to worry about re-injuring anymore because it's not injured. You know, it's completely healed. And I've had people like that guy that tore his rotator or cuff. Yeah, this was about a year ago. Never had shoulder pain in it again. My friend, the one I was telling you about, Mario, his dad couldn't lift his shoulder over here. He was one of the first ones after I fixed that. I gave it to him. 2 weeks later, he's doing lightweight shoulder presses for the first time. He's down 115, 120 pounds, completely changed his life. I mean, I put him on a mean stack because we were ordering, and me and my buddy, because he had lost 70 pounds off of Peptide. So me and him, I was like, I found the site. He was going to doctor paying a lot. I was like, well, I got the site. It's working good. Let's order. He's like, man, you can get Peptide for like a third or like a fifth of what I'm paying for it. And I got people that I can sell it to over here. I was like, well, let's order, let's do it. So then I started looking into like China and stuff like that and where it's sourced and how it comes. And then I got my first supplier. Then I started doing tests on it. You know, some of it was, some like, is it working or not? Then I would get some tests back. It would be 10 milligrams would be coming back at 6 milligrams. Potency, the purity would be 94%. And I'm like, So then I kept moving on to different suppliers. And I had a supplier, one that got me really good because she sent me like $3,000 in products. I got everything tested back perfect. I was like, all right, boom, $12,000 or $11,000, whatever it was, sent it to her, sent it Bitcoin, got my big stack, got it, sent everything off to test. I'm injecting all this stuff and I'm not feeling nothing. I'm feeling like, where's all this energy, everything that was, I got back every test was 0. Would never respond to my WhatsApp anymore. So that was it. She just got an $11,000, play out of me like that. Then I found my last supplier. Her numbers weren't great, but I told her, I was like, listen, I'll work with you, but I need, you have your test. I'm going to test with GenoCheck. That's who we test through. You walk in my store, we have about 200 and something tests. We test for heavy metal, endotoxin, sterility, and you'll look, there's probably 7, 8 different tests of red alone in there. Mott's probably has like 3 or 4, depending what sells more. Every time we buy it, we retest it. And we've been retesting for heavy metals, but now I'm kind of learning the heavy metal test isn't really necessary because you're going to get more heavy metals out of tap water than you're going to get even if there was heavy metals in the peptide. Just heavy metals are in a lot of the things that we're drinking and just in the air. Endotoxin is important, but I've had 40 endotoxin tests. None of them have came all pharmaceutical level. So there's like levels to like what pharmaceutical grade considers healthy, and above that is, considered not healthy. And me and her have a deal that if you give me something and it's not correct, like I got a SS31 50 milligrams, it came out at 32. I'm like, I have a test that says this is a 50 milligram and it's coming out at 32. I can't tell Janocheck to change this to a 30 milligram now because that's not how Janocheck works. You don't get to just call them and say, oh, it tested lowered, so name it lower. So like that. So because that's why they're the gold standard. They're very strict. You send it to them, you tell them what's in it. They're going to write that on the report, and there's going to be a barcode. You scan the barcode, it's going to take you to their direct website. You can see if anything's been altered, changed. Right. The exact, what was originally was on there is on there. So I told her, like, listen, if you send me something and the milligrams are wrong, like if it's an ipamorelin and it comes back at, 7.5 and it's supposed to be a 10, I need you to refund me for the test of that product and then have to send me more product, to replace all that. And that's our agreement. Like you charge me more, but as long as what I'm getting is I need 98% or above. And at 99 is pretty important. And she's pretty much, 90% of the time it's 99 or above. And if it's 98, it's very like 98.7, 98.8. She's very good about that. Her lab's really good. I stay with her. I could get it for cheaper. People, email me these different prices where I can get rid of sometimes, a few dollars cheaper here, this cheaper there. But it's like, why deal with that when I know it is? And you're talking $30 for a box of 10 or $50 for a box of 10. So you talk about $5 difference. And then maybe your test comes back right or it doesn't come back right and things like that. And she's been so good with us and so like on top of everything. If anything's wrong, she replaces it. And then I have my own label maker. So if I do get something like SS31 and it comes back 32, I will put it on the test will say 50, but the label is going to say this is a 30 milligram SS31. The price will be lower. It gets sold like that. And then we mix a lot of things for people. So like you see how we mix it, put it in the cartridges. And that's the biggest point, buying it offline. And then they took the water offline because the water, they consider it prescription. So they were able to take water off of Amazon. When I used to start, you could buy the pharmacy water, the stuff that they use in the hospital. You could buy that on Amazon. They took it all off of there now because they consider that pharmaceutical grade. And it's just a way to stop people from being able to mix these peptides. So
it's not on there anymore?
No.
Really?
And if it is, they'll have no reviews and you'll order it and a week later it won't be there anymore. And there's a good chance when you mix it, you'll have a bunch of little white flakes pop up in your peptide because they don't have 0.9% bacteriostatic water. The pH balance is off in it. pH balance is off in the water. That's when you'll get the flakes and all that in the water. So it's very hard for some people to buy water. They sent a letter to us telling us we weren't allowed to sell it on our website anymore because we were selling the pharmaceutical grade water on there. So we can't sell the water on there. So we still dry powder. People find their water. There are sites you can find it. You can Google. A lot of them will like say, oh, you need a prescription thing.
What about giving it away for free? Is that legal?
No, because it's still a prescription.
One of them I saw, it was like you order $70 worth and you get a free bottle of water with it.
Yeah, people can get away with it, and if they crack down on it, I mean, we work with people, like, hey, yeah, you want a bottle of water, you bought this much, we're going to toss you one in there, no big deal like that. And we try to work with people, but like my main focus is on the store. Like the websites are cool. There's so many of them out there. We put it up there, people buy it. But I like to be able to sit down and talk to somebody and say, what are your goals? Where should we start with you? And I try to get everybody with the NAD and that 5-amino because, what NAD is complete body health. It's your cells. It's getting your cells healthy. That's repairing your DNA. That's mental focus. That's recovery. That's mitochondria. It's everything your cells do. And the healthier your cells are, the longer you're going to live. It's just that simple, And like that's something like my mom's on. I told her, you're going to be on this for the rest of your life. 5-amino, take a little break after about 6 months. NAD, you can run that as long as you want. Your body, NAD isn't a peptide. It's I can't come up with the name, but it's something different we make that our cells absorb for energy. But 5-amino, they say to take a break. Then there's some people that say you don't need to take breaks from these. Like Retta, I know you don't need to take a break. I went too far with Retta. I took Retta to the 12 milligram top dose. I'm like, I'm going to lean out so much. I end up getting down to 4.6% body fat. And you've seen my scale, it's a $15,000 scale. It's a pretty accurate scale. And it rings me in all the time in between 6 and 5% right now, constantly. And I'm trying my hardest to get it back into that 9, 10% level. And it's just But I'm also training super hard. Right. I'm on other supplements that I don't sell, my own type, that I ordered from sites and then added with the peptides. It's like, but I think it's something what Retta did to me where it kept because even before I wasn't even working out, before I wasn't even pushing it, I was eating like crap. I was eating all the time. I was off Retta been off Retta 4 months. I've been working out about the last month, but for 3 months, I couldn't gain weight. Really would. My tablet, and what it does is, so what Retta does is send this peptide to your glucagon receptor, and the glucagon receptor puts you in a fasted state. So the body's used to how much calories you eat is how much calories it can burn. So if you're a big time overeater, your body starts burning as many calories as it wants. So what Retta does is kind of trick the body into thinking we have a surplus of calories, especially if you got 40 pounds on your body of fat. Look, that's all calories we can burn. So that's how Retta works. And it's slowly getting the metabolism up. And the only thing I hate is if somebody's been on tirzepatide or semaglutide first because they've killed their metabolism. So now Retta needs to repair that metabolism, get it back up to baseline or normal, which takes about 6 weeks. So the first 6 weeks, they're not seeing much results. And I don't, it's like, but you weren't getting any results with tirzepatide either. You said you were on it for 3 months at the 15 milligram dose, not losing any weight.
I feel like because I started with the Mounjaro or tirzepatide, and it was it worked because like my wife was taking, she's like, here, try this, and I'd take it, and I'm like, man, I'd be good for like 3-4 days, but then I'm hungry. Yeah. And I just realized I had to do twice a week or whatever. But then I got on Retta, and I was like, man, this ain't working. Mm-hmm. And then, but I stayed on it, right? Because and then now I noticed the difference. Like,
oh man, once you get month 3 of Retta. How many milligrams?
So I think what happened was because I didn't put a label on it. I think what happened is I got a 50 milligram vial and I only usually put a milliliter or 2 of water, so I don't have to have as much in the needle. Yeah. And I don't even remember how much it was. I normally am at like the 20 units or whatever. Yeah. And then the next morning, because I did it at night, it's usually Sunday nights, and to get ready for Monday for the work week, and gut just cramped up, went to, I had diarrhea for a week straight, and I Googled it, and there was like, ain't nothing we can do about it, just hang tight, brother. Like,
that's what's great with our store.
I lost weight though.
Yeah, no, that's what's great with our store though. We mix it for you. We get it in a pen. The pen comes with needles. It has directions on the side. It tells you, okay, this is the Retta 15. You're going to start out at 30 units twice a week. So you're going to do 30 units twice a week. And then at the bottom, it's going to tell you 20 units equals 1 milligram. So 30 units twice a week is 60. You're doing 3 milligrams that week of retatrutide. Right. And then that way you know what you're doing, and you're not guessing or like what you did where you mixed the bottle and now you're in some pain and things like that. So, and we keep it really, and then I'm always open. You call the office, we talk. I mean, I talk to at least 2 people a day that are like, hey, this is going on. What, should I do this? Should I do that? And my biggest thing I stress to people all the time, don't move up if you don't need to. Yeah. Everybody just thinks, oh, I got to move up. I got to move up. I got to move up. No, if 40 units twice a week is working great for you, stay on that as long as you can. Yeah. Like I said, I take everything to the max. So every peptide I do, what's the high end of the dose? Let's run it. Let's see how it works. I want the full effects of these peptides, and I mean it. And it works great for me. But I own a peptide store. Yeah. Most people aren't gonna be able to afford my stuff. Like I showed you the picture the one day where it was like 14 needles, 14 pins one morning. Yeah. Then I did 7 that night. That's 21 different with the different peptides mixed into some of those pins. So maybe 26 peptides I did in that day, I'm doing the longevity cycles right now with the epitalin, the thimalin, and stuff like that. And if people stop in the stores, I can explain go deeper onto what epitalin, though, is the one that I try to get people to really look at. Russia has a lot of long studies on it. You look at Vladimir Putin, the guy is in great shape. The guy is 80 years old. He rides horses, does jiu-jitsu. His right-hand man, they call the godfather of peptides. He created a lot of these, the C-Max, the C-Links, the epitalin, the thimalin. He created a lot of these things. There's no way Vladimir Putin's not taking the peptides when the guy that creates all these peptides is right there with him all the time. And then you look at this guy speak, and he's in an interview with Tucker Carlson, and it's getting translated. But I mean, Tucker's hitting him with these questions from just random stuff, and he's just spouting out facts about 1948 and this army did this and this army, and I'm like, damn, this dude knows some like, my memory ain't. I don't keep thoughts like that in my head of like, you just don't throw a random topic of some war that happened or some thing like, and you could tell he's super sharp. Anytime you hear Putin talk, it's in Russian, but if you get it translated and everything he's saying, he's always like, and any back and forth, if you can hear the translate, he is very sharp at what he talks, and he's 80 years old. Now, I'm looking into a lot of these new peptides that are for people that are losing their memory and they're noticing it. And we're just getting them in. We're going to get them tested. I was telling you, I got 9 new ones in. I got one they call a heat-seeking missile to cancer cells in the body, PNC 27. There's one for depression. C-Link is great for anxiety and stress, and it's amazing for that. And it really helped me with the business because I have a lot of social anxiety. So I was never a person that was like, hey, just randomly walk in, let's talk. So I started with C-Link and C-Max. C-Max creates BDNF in the brain, new brain cells, strengthens the bond, gets super focused, helps a lot of people get off Adderall. So those were 2 I started when I started my first company. And it was like I was learning peptides quick, and then I was easy to talk to people in there and stuff like that. So those were 2 great ones. And then I looked into the epitalin one, and then I started seeing that it lengthens the telomeres, the tips of the telomeres of the DNA. And I'm like, what the hell is a telomere? I look into telomere. Telomere is the latter part of your DNA. And every time you create a new cell, you create a new cell out of your DNA. And every time it comes shorter off the tip, keeps getting it. And then once the tip's too short, the DNA fails, the DNA dies. Well, epitalin will lengthen the telomeres back out. So I did 2 sets of it. I was 40 years old. I ran a telomere test, came back that I was 34-year-old DNA. So it took, and I don't know, I didn't have a pre, but I've lived a crazy life. My life is like juvenile. I was in trouble nonstop. Like school was not my thing. I was just always in some trouble. I always ran with older friends, and we were always just partying crazy, did a lot of drugs back in the day.
I tell people, like, I was diagnosed with COPD at 28 years old from just Newports, smoking drugs, whatever drugs I could. I was smoking fentanyl and all that. So like, and that obviously COPD means like scar tissue in the lungs, where the lungs can't expand the way that they're supposed to, and you can't get a proper oxygen exchange. And now I'm running 5Ks, and I mean, this was years ago. I've been the last 4 years. But I still get tightness in my chest because I don't do a lot of cardio.
There's a peptide. I'm telling you, I just got it in. I'm really the first box we got in, everything. But it's named after bronchitis. It's like claiming bronchitis. Any lung issues, any breathing issues. If you want to strengthen the lung, this is supposed to be one of the peptides for it. Like I said, I just got it. I'm just now learning about it. What I do is I make notes. I make dosing notes. I make what is it for. How should I, explain it to people? I go with AI, I talk, I kind of try to understand it all, and that one's really good for like people with bronchitis, any breathing issues, even with asthma issues and things like that. Strengthens the lung up really well like that. But yeah, I mean, if you would ask people who knew me back when I was 14 and 15, they would never think I would be doing anything like what I'm doing right now. I mean, popping ecstasy, shrooms at 14, partying every weekend, nitrous tanks at the party, like party. And then what happened was around 18, it was like, kind of done with the
That's what happened to me. At 21, I was like, I didn't want to drink no more.
Yeah, well, I had a fake ID at 14 because I was 6 foot tall with a beard. So I was buying, my friends' alcohol who were 18 and stuff, and we were down in Daytona, fake ID everywhere. Always had a different fake ID from 14 on up. So when I was 21, it was nothing to me anymore. And then I got in a lot of trouble as a juvenile, and had to do some time down in it was a level 8. I don't know if people know about juvenile camps, but
I was
you got
at a
different
level
levels
6 prison.
So I was in level 8 down in the Everglades, Miami. The one of the worst level 8 programs you can go to. It's just brutal. They first day they made me run the whole compound in shackles, to where all 6 of our ankles were bleeding. At the end of the run. Then the guy was like, "Hey, who's got a kid?" And he's like, oh, yeah, I got to. He said, I wish your baby was here so I could wrap it in tinfoil and throw it in a dumpster. You know, like that's how they were treating a bunch of 15, 16-year-old kids and stuff like that. I got out of that. I was like, I'm done. That was it. You know, I'm good. I went and worked for ADT. And luckily, it was all juvenile charges. I had, 10 felonies of juvenile.
Yep.
Luckily, it was like they gave me some probation. Then all of a sudden, it was like 2 big charges. And they gave me 2 level 8s running concurrent, but they put me in the worst level 8 program, or running consecutive. So I only had to do one of them, but they put me in the worst one to do. So get out, work ADT for 10 years. That was crawling in attics, installing. This was before the wireless stuff and all this stuff. So I was always up in Florida attics, full of insulation. But it was piecework, and I love piecework. If you give me a job and tell me how much I get paid per that job, that's my thing. You tell me per hour, I'm like, what's incentive me to rush?
Right.
You give me piecework, I'll knock 5 houses out in a day if I'm getting $150 per house. So I was making great money doing ADT, living my life, doing trips like that and stuff like that. But then I stumbled into North California. Some things were popping off up there. Some grows were going on. Buddy needed some help. I was like, I'll go up there and let's see what's going on, And dipped into that industry for a little while, and then that was very lucrative for a long time.
I got to build the building pad for the first legal grow facility in Martin County. Out west, it's on the grade out there, 60,000 square foot grow, built the building pad. I did the dirt work for it.
That's cool. Yeah. Ours weren't much illegal. Not much illegal about anything we were doing. Boxing it up, shipping it out. Sending it. And the good thing that people didn't realize was USPS, the feds had to get involved to deal with the package. So use USPS. Most likely you're sending 5-10 pounds. If they catch it, they just take it. There's not going to be any repercussions. Now FedEx, USPS can call local law enforcement and get people picked up for it. So I did my research with that, and we learned that way. So moved a lot, and that was back. I mean, you could get them. Pounds were going like 11, 12, 1,300 over there, getting 2,600 for over there. So it's like, boom, you send 10, you doubled your money. You send 10, you double your money. It was good times and stuff like that. And then money was really good. And then industry kind of went south. I did get popped going through Nebraska. I had 350 pounds on me, some shatter. They pulled me over there. I actually had a driver that was driving for me. Last minute, they call. They're like, no. I was like, well, I'll give you an extra 5,000. Like, no. I'm like loaded up. I'm like, I'm a white dude. I look clean cut. Screw it. I'll take the drive. Boom, get hit it there. Did some time. Lawyer fees ended up being like 80-something thousand because Seward, Nebraska wanted time. So I ended up getting a year there. Luckily, it was less than a month in the center, straight to work release. 6 weeks on in like the kitchen area, straight to working in Chipotle. So now I'm in Lincoln, Nebraska, going to Chipotle. Every day they give you 2 hours to get on a bus to get to your Chipotle. Now I took 2 weeks. They give you 2 weeks to find a job. And then I got money at the time, so I'm getting Western Union. They give you your IDs and everything to go get jobs. So I'm going to Western Union getting money. So I'm going down in Lincoln, Nebraska. That's where the Cornhuskers are and stuff. So really, your bus station all around there's great restaurants. There was like a Texas Day Brazil style restaurant I would go to. There's some, go there. And they would give you 2 weeks to be at a job center. You could pick places that you want to go interview at. So all I was doing was I was looking for places I want to eat at and stuff like that. And I would say, oh, I'm applying for this place. I'm applying for this place. For 2 weeks, I did that. And they told me, though, in the center, like, listen, after 2 weeks, they're going to tell you if you don't get a job, you have 1 more week, and that's it. So 2 weeks I did that. And it was funny, the job center where you'd go be on the computer was right next to the movie theater. So the Joker was out at the time, the real original Joker. I'm watching that. I watched a couple movies there. Like I'm just like chilling. And then finally I knew Chipotle was going to hire me. And then I told them I couldn't start for another week. So then I waited to the very end of the 3 weeks I didn't have to work. And yeah. So that brought me there, but that really hurt. Took a lot of everything I had made and, everything I built and stuff like that. So got back to, and then all of a sudden the market of marijuana it collapsed on people. I mean, if people know what pounds are these days, it's, $500, you a pound of weed for. Back when they were $2,600, a few years ago. During COVID, they were $2,600. Everybody was so scared to fly during COVID and do things. So yeah. And then, like I said, I just stumbled into injuring this arm, and you think of it as like, and I tell people all the time, like, sometimes you think the worst thing in the world that can happen to you turns into the greatest thing to ever happen to you. Because I can't think of a more fulfilling, better job than what I'm doing right now, where I've seen people lose 70 pounds. How many years of their life did that just add to them being 70 pounds? Woman, 70 pounds, 5'3" woman down 70 pounds. One of like my best friend's father, he's down 120 pounds. I mean, he would go home at 2:00 in the afternoon, wouldn't get off the couch. He would call his workers to go grab things out of the shed. He just, no energy, Now wakes up 4:30, goes to the gym. People walk by him, they don't even recognize him because he's down 120 pounds. He's off all his medication. He calls me up one day. He's like, man, I'm super lightheaded, almost fainted. I was like, well, what's your blood pressure at? He's like, it was like either like 75 over 50, something crazy low. I'm like, what are you taking blood pressure medication? I'm like, get off your blood pressure medication right now. Quit taking it and never had to take it again. Taking it for 10 years. He was taking an anger pill because he used to snap all the time. I was like, C-Link, let's try that. Did C-Link. He does that every now and then. Never had to take that. Now he goes to the doctor for nothing. Takes no pharmaceutical drugs. And I have about, 80, 90 people that I know personally that are off all their pharmaceutical drugs just because of peptides. And it's just so weird that I stumbled into that business out of like everything through my life of just being a troublemaker, being a little asshole, then working, then getting into that, and then going through, the trouble in Nebraska, coming out, doing all that, and then just turning into this business to where it's like I can see complete change in people. Like my mom. Like my mom's hands are completely straight now. She looks so much younger.
I got to look into that too for my wife because I didn't even think about that. She says she's starting to get like the arthritic kind of feeling, and
if you catch it early, what I'm reading on some formats is people catching it or carpal tunnel and stuff like that. If it's not setting in too bad, you get the healing. It never gets too bad. And see, my mom now, she's on like a 2 to 3 times a week dose of it. But I have her on a lot of things. So I have her on the NAD. She does the Epitalin with the Thimalin every twice a year. Foxo4 DRE, which is a zombie cell killer. So your body's cells are always dying. And you go through apoptosis. So your body kills the cell, gets it out the body. Every year your body misses them. And you keep collecting these dead cells in your body. And they call them zombie cells or senescent cells. They're floating around the body. Well, Foxo4 has, they don't, of course, there's no human studies on these things because they're not going to allow it to happen. Just because to get things FDA approved costs $2 billion. And if it's something that you can't patent, nobody's going to make it, we're going to pay the $2 billion. So what this does, and it's been proven, it seeks out only the dead cells. And it's had 18-month study in animal studies where it only seeks out dead cells, does not harm any healthy cells, and puts the dead cells through apoptosis and eliminates them. It's something you do once a week, maybe 3 times a year. And I do it 3-4 times a year. So I have her doing that one. I have her do the GHK. She stays with that one. I keep her BBC, the TB, and the KPV separate, so she can use that monitor as when her hands are hurting or if she's aching, she can take a little more of it and things like that. NAD, I keep her steadily on. C-Link and C-Max, she's going through hormonal issues, so I have the Kispeptin. It's your body creates Kispeptin. It regulates hormones in the body. So I've helped a lot of women. Girls getting off of birth control, irregular periods for months on, 2 periods, no periods, all hop on Kispeptin, do it for 6 weeks, back to complete normal because that's how your body, Kispeptin's already made in the body, and it's a reset. Now women going through menopause issues too, and men with hormone deficiencies and things like that, it can help regulate all of those things. So, but it's your body's how it does. You can look into Kispeptin. Kispeptin's made into the body. It's already there. It's how we regulate our hormones naturally. Sometimes those birth controls, how we just throw little girls on birth controls right out the thing is crazy. I get people don't want their daughter getting pregnant, but at the same time, you are altering their hormones at the age of 14 and 15 years old. Like, what is that doing to them in the mind? Like, why are all our young girls going through so much depression and stuff?
You have a higher frequency of infertility.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know?
But I mean strictly of what does it do to the mind when you change your hormones like that at a young age? And then why are women so much more depressed and having so many more anxiety issues and so many more problems? I truly believe a lot of that's towards, putting them on.
Plus our food and everything, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, birth control is just it's made to alter your hormones completely. Like these girls are just getting through puberty and then you're changing how their hormones work right off the top. Like, what is that? And they do not do any long-term studies into what that really is doing or anything like that. It's the same way with vaccines. They're not doing any long-term studies and like why the Amish have no autism, but they have no vaccines, Really strange. And then if you look at state by state, which state mandatory the most vaccines have the highest rates of autism. California is one of the highest. It's 1 in 14. You look at a state like Idaho or something like that. They have a lot less regulations of they're like 1 in 80, 1 in 9. You know what I'm saying? And then like Florida's kind of in the middle. Florida's getting a little more lenient on what they're like forcing people to get vaccines for and stuff like that. And and I don't want to go into the whole vaccine thing, but that's just to me that we don't do any real studies on the harms. No studies on the harms, and RFK talks about that we don't study any of the harms. This autism rate has just skyrocketed through everywhere, and 50 years ago it wasn't there, and and we give how many vaccines do we give the kid in the first
It's like 12 or in the first 4 days definitely it's like 5 or 6.
Yeah, it's a kid just a couple days, 5, 6, 5. What the hell's gonna have a kid in 5 or 6 days? What are we doing? I don't know. Like I have so many friends now, no vaccines to their kids, and if they are, they're going to wait.
Well,
they're going to do some research.
It's kind of my kid, my dog. Like we didn't do any of that stuff with her and she's fine. She's never had a problem, never had no issues, no heartworms, none of that. Like we feed her decent food. Like sometimes it's cheaper to buy chicken and cook chicken than it is to go buy dog food. And my wife does, all that, the healthier alternatives.
Yeah, I try to I got a little cat, an actual little cat. It's a munchkin. I don't know if you've ever seen those cats. The short little legs are Scottish folds, so they have the folded ears, round head, tiny little legs. So they're like the teacup dogs, but the cat version of them. They're just little short leg cats. They got these folded ears, cool as hell. Yeah, I got that little thing. But yeah, I forgot where I was going with that. But yeah, it's Yeah, they made me get the vaccine though when I went to the rabies vaccine when I took her there. I was like, I don't take her anywhere, but yeah, the whole vaccine thing just it drives me crazy of like how they force you to get them, and if you get the vaccine, that stops you from getting it. So why are you forcing me to get a vaccine?
I didn't get the COVID vaccine. Yeah, no. They were going to try to make me when I was flying to Brazil with my wife. They're like, oh, you either have to have the vaccine or it was like some card, but we were at the airport, and I'm like, so for me to take this trip, I need to go to CVS real quick and get the either the test or the vaccine. The test was like 48 hours to get the results. So I'm like, fuck it, give me the vaccine. And then they ended up accepting the quick test, which was like normally they wouldn't do.
Yeah, I went down and I found somebody's screenshot of their vaccine test on their iPhone, and then I put it into my iPhone, and then I just edited the name, and I sent it to every friend I had in California, and every place. Didn't matter. We went to the Bad Bunny Con, we went to every restaurant. Boom, there's my vaccine card. Here's my ID. All you did, I just edited. I matched colors, whited, put it there, put my name, my girl's name, and I just made anybody that needed a vaccine. Here's, and it just showed up on your iPhone as like your card. That you could have your vaccine card on your iPhone. So that was, helped a lot of people not have to get the vaccine because California was so strict with it. Like you couldn't go out there.
I didn't even want to go there. I went to LA, and luckily it was after, but they were like, yeah, if you're going to be in this room, you got to have that. And I'm like, well, I'm not going then. Yeah. It was for the software that we use for doing earthwork takeoffs is in Cali. And they were like, yeah, we got this event. We're going to invite you. We're going to fly you out for free. And I'm like, okay, I'll check it out. But then they were like, oh, if you're in this room, you either got to have a mask on. I'm like, dude, I'm from Florida. Like, we don't get down like that around here. So I'm good. But I want to jump back into talk about your store, talk about, where you're at, where you're located, where people can find you.
Right across the mall. I'm right next to like where the Longhorn is. I'm in the entrance before or after Longhorn, whichever way you're coming. I'm on the east side of the mall of US 1 on Federal Highway. So right there where the Mattress Firm is, you can turn in. Yep, right there in Stewart, right across from the Treasure Coast Mall. Yeah. They label it Stewart, but yeah, I think it's either way. But right across the mall right there. And what we are is we carry about 50 different peptides. I like to sit down and talk to people. If you know what you want, you come in there, you tell what you want. I might throw some suggestions at you. Like I say, NAD5 amino, I'm always trying to tell people this is a good one. If you're in any pain, the BPC 157, the TB 500, the KPV is really good, especially with people with skin issues, eczema, psoriasis, any skin acne issues, amazing for it. You blend it with the GHK, they call it the Clo. I mean, the skin, like my hair, when people see my hair now from when they see me from 7 years ago, my hair is in such better shape, so much thicker. The receding has gone down so much. And it's just your body's reproducing collagen. So if you have active follicles there, you'll start regrowing hair there. So it's really amazing for that. And the main thing what we do is we have it mixed, we'll mix it for you. We'll load it in a pen. We put a sticker on the pen that tells you what you're getting and what we recommend you take and how often you recommend to take it. So if it's like a tesamorelin, which is the king of growth hormone releasing, which means your body's going to be anti-aging, healing tendons, speeding up metabolism, building muscle, and it's going to target visceral fat. So if you're on a peptide or if you're on a strict diet and you're killing, it's going to get rid of the visceral fat, the fat around the organs. You want to take that at night because it helps you sleep so good. So you take it at night because that's when your body's going to produce a lot more growth hormones. And a lot of women it's really good for because that's where you regulate your hormones is when you're sleeping. So the deeper your sleep is, you get that. And then I have like the C-Link, C-Max. C-Max is for the memory. C-Links is for the anxiety and the stress. I have Adamax now, which is like super strong C-Max where like if I really need to dial in on something, because I don't like to do, I've done Adderall, stuff like that. I'd much prefer to hit a little Adamax now, and I'm just focused in and get things knocked out.
That's an on-demand one?
Yeah, Adamax.
Adamax
is there. We got that now. C-Max, C-Link, Bicep, Delta sleep-inducing peptide. Man, when it works for people, it works. I mean, phenomenal. I take it any night I drink. I make sure to take it because my sleep is always messed up after a few drinks. I'm not a big drinker, but if I have 3 drinks, I know my sleep's going to be crap. I take that D-Sip. Today, I want to be on point. I took it in on my phone. If you mind if I pull it up real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I wear the Whoop band, kind of tells me what my sleep was. Look at what my REM sleep was last night doing the D-Sip. The little line is where the average is.
Yeah.
That's how much extra I got last night.
Wow.
And I hadn't done D-Sip in about 4 nights, so I was like, I'm going to go. My light sleep was at 35%. My deep sleep was 30%. And then I had 30% of REM sleep, which was 5 hours and 37 minutes of restorative sleep. So 2 hours and 48 minutes of deep sleep, 2 hours and 59 minutes of REM sleep.
Wow.
And I was only awake for 5% of the night. And I got up to pee, woke up a couple times. My cat likes to jump and play around a little bit, but getting 5 hours and 37 minutes of restorative sleep is like,
that's good.
Yeah. People shoot for 3 hours.
Yeah.
They can get 3 hours of restorative sleep.
Some people only get 5 hours of sleep, period. So that's not accounting. It takes a while to get into REM.
With D-sleep is really good.
But that's good for recovery too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sleep.
But people who are like, I only have, if like I'm catching a flight or something in the morning, I know, dang, I got 5 hours. I'm doing D-Sip because I know it's going to get me into that REM sleep. And then, the other peptides too, like C-Link, I like, if I got things in my head at night, I take that. It just shuts those thoughts off. I can just drift right to sleep. There's a lot more. Ipamorelin, CJC are just 2 growth hormone releasing peptides. They're a lot cheaper than tesamorelin, help build muscle, help with the anti-aging, help reconnect tissues. Because everybody knows, not everybody, but HGH is like one of the most amazing things our body makes to be anti-aging.
And you want to release it naturally too.
And get it to if you can get it synthetically, get it that way, that's, great. They've had studies on it. Now it doesn't grow cancer like they said it does.
Right.
People who have actually been on it for 10, 15 years have less cancer rates than the people who have, than the normal public and things like that. We have What other peptides? Like I said, we talked about the FOXO4 killing zombie cells, the ones that lengthen the telomeres. But I mean, really, Reta, NAD, 5-amino. I love getting people on that stack because what Reta is going to do is, all right, we're going to slow down the amount of your food you're eating. So if you're eating 2,500 calories, you're going to be eating about 1,800 a day. Second thing it's going to do is going to level off your insulin level. It's going to make you become insulin sensitive, and that's where I tell people, get you some, complex carbohydrates, things like that in the body. Let Reta, give it a little jump start in the morning, and it'll start getting your metabolism up so fast that your body will be burning fat all day.
Yeah.
The other thing it does go to the glucagon receptor, put you in a fasted state. So even if you miss that lunch and you're not hungry and you don't feel that lunch, your body's just already in that fasted state, so it's burning fat. And that's why bodybuilders are taking it. And I don't know if you've been reading the format. These bodybuilders are like, this is the easiest cuts of my life. I'm keeping all my muscle and I'm draining fat on Reta. Now, in the study with Reta versus placebo, there's 50% less protein in the urine of the people on Reta than on the placebo, meaning the body synthesizes more protein into the muscle. And you know about that. That's the biggest goal of that's what certain steroids do, Anavar, anything that can get the more of the protein into the muscle and not just peed out. Because you can do 200 grams of protein, but if your body only absorbs 80 of it and you pee out the other 130 or poop, your body only got 80 grams of protein. Right. So you always want your body to be able to synthesize more protein in the muscle. That's what 5-amino does too. And that's why it makes it grow muscle a lot easier. And then inside the store, I'll walk everybody through it. It's loaded in the pen, ready to go with the direction. And then I have an iPad and I have some videos on there that I got off of Instagram where I show these people a little bit more. I could break it down and here's
information. I mean, I think that's the biggest part with peptides is that people don't know.
Here's a guy, he's got 50,000 likes. He's going to explain to you what Reta and 5-amino together is going to do. I'll explain it to you. Here, watch this video while I'm ringing you up. And here, let's check out the video of Chloe. It'll show you how all these 4 different peptides are working in conjunctions with each other, creating new blood vessels, healing this, sending the cells to heal, getting inflammation out, getting collagen production up, and then, and finding the right dosing for everybody. Everybody doesn't need the same dosing, Some people need more, some people need less. And I tell people that with Reta all the time. As soon as you like the dose of your Reta, you stay there as long as you can. My pen's going to tell you move.
So is it true that Reta, that you're not going to build a tolerance to it?
You might need to move up eventually, but I've had people stay at the 3 milligrams a week for 3-4 months, hit their goal weight, jump off. They've been off 6 months, never gained another pound back. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing with Reta. Reta gets your metabolism up so high. So when you get off of Reta, and that's my problem right now, I can't put on body fat, is because my metabolism's so high. I have one of these freak metabolisms because I went to the 12 milligrams a week for about 4 months. So I was in my appetite, I was able to eat.
Yeah.
My body was just burning everything up. And I kept dropping weight.
What's your thought on MK?
MK677 is really good if you want to put on some size. I prefer GHRP6 just because it has a little bit stronger of growth hormone releasing and it hits the hunger hormone. But MK677 is really good. It's doing the same thing. It's just a SARM, not a peptide. Cases are still out with SARMs versus peptides. Peptides are more naturally occurring, as in SARMs are a little different of how they're making the growth hormone. But I haven't done MK677. The people that have done it, they say the appetite is super strong on that. My GHRP6, it's pretty strong on.
What's Cimarelin is the one that releases the gremlin or same thing that MK. I think it's called gremlin, which is it's a mimetic of growth hormone releasing peptide. Yeah. And I personally took the MK because I was on a bulk cycle animal, just eating everything but not shit. For whatever reason, I don't know what it is too, even about taking Reta, but it just makes you subconsciously not want shit food. You're eating healthy. Is that what it is?
It's dopamine receptors. So you have dopamine receptors in your stomach, and what Reta and tirzepatide both do is it calms down the cravings for dopamine. And Eli Lilly actually is in phase 3 right now with tirzepatide, and then there's one called cagrilintide that you can add to Reta to give you a stronger appetite suppressant and stronger kill food noise, they call it, where you don't crave nicotine, you don't crave gambling. Yeah, you like that was the first thing I noticed is I always loved the McDonald's frappe, and then I just it was not appealing to me anymore. You know, I've been off Retta 4 months now, and I'm just shoveling anything in I can get in right now, and I'm just.
But that's you're trying to do that. You want to gain weight right now.
Oh, I'm doing 4 shots of GHRP6 a day. I'm trying to. I got up to 215, and my body fat was at like 6.2, but now I'm back down to like 210, and my body fat clocked in at like 5.
I got to get in there. I think it's been almost a month since I went in there. I want to check again because I'm still right around the same weight. Like I'm at the 220 mark. Like I was like 218 this morning, but I feel like I have more muscle than I did before because I was 208. It's the lowest I've ever been since before high school. I'm like lately trying to change. I was 298 almost 4 years ago. Dropped down to almost 200. And then have built back up to like 215, 220 with changing the composition. You know what I mean? Versus.
And then the body scale that we were talking, I have the InBody 570, and you can look it up. It's InBody 570. It's about a $14,000 to $18,000 machine. It's very accurate at measuring how much body fat you have on your body, how much skeleton muscle mass, how much lean muscle mass, your water weight, your visceral fat. And you can come in and use it at any time in my store. I don't charge anybody to use it. I've had a guy come, he didn't even buy peptides to use my scale. It's a scale. I got it there. I bought it, but other people charge $50 to use it and stuff like that. I'm just like, you come in my store, you can use it. And I love to see the results. So that's my favorite part. And I want to see what works. Like I had a guy, he keeps getting on my scale. He's taking my stack. I'm recommending. He's like, man, the weight's not coming off. What the hell's going on? I'm like, well, let's start. What are you drinking? Oh, I drink my Walmart sweet tea. How much of that do you drink a day?
Yeah.
Half gallon, maybe 3/4 of a gallon.
Sugar, boy. Sugar will mess you up. Not mess you up, but yeah, sugar's definitely.
Well, no, it's empty calories, spikes your insulin. Retta does not, it's not good. Now Retta has to get that insulin because you physically cannot burn body fat if your blood sugar is high. You physically can't. You have to get the blood sugar down. That's why all diabetics are overweight and they can't lose weight because their blood sugar is too high. You physically cannot burn fat in the body till the blood sugar is at its level. So all he was doing was spiking his blood sugar all day. So his body was never able to burn fat. So I got him on the MOTS. I got him on, NAD. I got him on the stack. So I tell him like, man, cut out your sweet tea. Stop your sweet tea. And then I love Thai food. I'm like, man, these Thai foods, well, not even the salt. They're using the worst salt, but where are they getting their noodles from? What are they making it out? Of course, it's the cheapest. What is it? Cinco, cheap. Our grain here is so bad for you're getting no nutrients out of those carbs. It's not like that. You want sweet potatoes. You want good fruits in your body, things like that. And if you are going to get potatoes, get regular potatoes, fine. But it's not. Try to get sweet potatoes when you're on Retta. Retta loves a sweet potato. It loves apples, berries. If you can get grass-fed meat, if not, get good quality meat. Pasture-raised eggs, I always recommend. They're like little multivitamins in each one.
I remember going to Colombia. They had the egg, the yellow yolk was like the brown eggs, actual natural eggs, and just different. No, so much better. Yeah, a lot better.
Oh, up in California, they just had them, so everybody had. They just Roman. So you just get each, and there's just this dark orange yolk, and it was so much better like that. And then you get these ones, and if you're like, oh, $2 a dozen, or probably not anymore. I haven't bought those cheap eggs, but used to be 99 cents. And you get into brightest orange, man. Those chickens are so stressed. It's and they're full of omega-6 fats, and they're just super inflammatory to the body. And that's the biggest problem. People just think food is food.
So would you say part of what you like to tell people is how to change your diet as well?
Yeah, I try to.
Diet and workout exercise have to go hand in hand when you're taking peptides.
Take the walk, at the end of the day, get a little walk.
You got to go hit up 4 hours at the gym. I told them, just lift your leg up 400 times when you're sitting on the couch. That's a workout.
Give these peptides. Don't think of these peptides as I take them and they're just miracle, magic wand. They're going to do everything. They can help a lot. If you're stressed out and anxiety, you take it. You don't got to do anything else. It's going to help do that. But if you want to lose weight and get in good shape, you got to make sure you're getting the right.
You got to do your part.
Yeah, you do your part. So the guy came in 2 weeks later. He just came in this was it Saturday. He came in and he was wearing a tank top. I was like, damn, man, he jumped on the scale. He lost like 5 pounds in 2 weeks. and he had gained a little muscle. So he had burnt the fat half his body. He's starting to do a little exercise. He cut out all his sweet tea. All he drank was water. I was like, that was the trick. And he started eating an apple a morning. And he said he would eat an apple in the middle of the day. He followed my instructions. He got away from the Thai food. He started eating, some burgers and steaks at the house. He was making a sweet potato. He's like, I followed everything you said. I want to come back on the scale. And I showed him. He jumped on the scale, and he was like, okay. I
believe you now.
Yeah. Well, he's like, that's what I wanted to see. He's like, I wanted to see if I did everything right, did I get the right results? I was like, yeah, that's what it is. It's like, Redo will point you in that right direction. NAD will just get your body healthy. You don't need to do anything special with NAD. NAD is just going to cellular get your body healthy. And then we have like I was saying, the iPad out there. I'll have like videos where I can show people like what the actual science behind it, when they discovered NAD, how it works, why you need it so important into the body and things like that. I really like talking with people, and I don't mind if you want to sit in my office with me for 25 minutes and discuss a bunch of peptides that you're not even going to buy. Maybe think about them later, anything like that. Yeah. I just love, getting people healthy, changing people's lives. Like, there's not many jobs you can do that. These doctors aren't doing it. They're walking in just shoveling but they're just shoving pills and getting out of there. I had a lady say she didn't want to take statins. The doctor said, if you don't take statins, I will not treat you anymore.
That's my story. I went into this doctor's office, and they told me basically like I was overweight, but heaviest I've ever been in my life. Just came back from a trip from Brazil, eating like crazy. I was with my wife at the time. I was with her about 5 years. I was waking up in the morning. She's sleeping on the couch because I'm snoring so loud that she can't even sleep in the same room with me. And I'm like, what did I do? Like, I didn't do nothing wrong. And the food, she was feeding me rice and beans for dinner, and then big plate of food for lunch the next day, and like eating to the point where it hurt to eat, and McDonald's for bread, just unhealthy. Yeah. But I go to the doctor, and the lady's like, yeah, we can put you on the high blood pressure medicine, high cholesterol medication, and you got to go get a CPAP. And like, I did the sleep study. I'm following what they want. Did the sleep study. She's like, yeah, now you need to buy the CPAP and just go get to tests again. I'm like, I'm going to go spend $4,000. And I had insurance. Still costs money to do all this stuff. And, I walked out of there that day that she wanted to put me on those medicines. And I went and became a certified nutritionist, certified bodybuilder specialist, certified personal trainer. Not because, it was because I wanted the knowledge. Just like anything, I go all in. Whenever I want to learn about something, like I just created a book with peptides. Like, there's 45 peptides in it. It tells you what each one of them is, what body, where they're working in the body, where they came from, that your body naturally produces them, and for knowledge to give people information. That's what you're saying you like to do. Yeah. You inform the people. There's just so much around it. Like you said, the misinformation when it comes to HGH, talking about growing cancer cells and growing this and growing that. It's like, yeah, if you're taking enough of anything, like it'll do that effect to the max. But
no, definitely. No, and that's what I created, a little booklet I have at the store now. And what I'm going to do is I want to go around to local businesses and offer my booklets into their store, and they can come up with a code. And the code gives their customers 15% off if they bring the booklet in there. And that code goes to the person who owns the store, and they get 20% commission of whatever the first purchase is. And that's going to be my thing. I'm going to go around to businesses, see if that's something people are interested in. I'll have a stand. I'll put a few of my books. And when I walk in, I'll just ask them their code. They can create it. They fill out a little piece of paper. They're not affiliated with us in any way of selling, inventory, nothing with that. All they are is just letting us leave our pamphlets in your store. That's all. And we will give you 20% commission of whatever gets bought from that off the first sale of the purchase. So, if somebody comes in, spends $500, they're getting 15% off of that. So you're getting $75 off of $15, so $425. So you're getting 20, you get $85, something like that. Yeah. Boom, off that one customer there, and then another customer comes in, and then at the end of the month we'll call you and we'll list you the names of all the these customers came into the store, bought peptides, and this is how much you made in commission. That way, if Steve Smith went in there, and if I don't say Steve Smith's name, I might lie to you and not gave you commission off of one of the person I got from there. So I'll let you know all the people that came in. That way, that you know that you're getting all the commission from each one. And that's something I thought of around here, a local store, see if they want to do it. So I'm going to put around, and the booklets are going to have about 18 different peptides, what they do, you know, kind of how I would explain it. You know, red is the first one, NAD, then it goes to like glow, and then yeah, more your common. I mean, the skin repair on, like, you know, especially as you're losing weight, just getting the skin to get tightened back up is the more important thing.
Yeah, but that's what brings more education too, because like you said, you dove in now to where like you've found all these other peptides that have different things that you can do that maybe aren't even on a list or searchable right up front, where you got to go deep down and dive and look for them, but they're providing value to you. You know what I mean?
Well, like that PNC-27, it's the heat-seeking missile to cancer cells in the body, and they've had 18 months of research on rodents where it just seeks out cancer cells and destroys them and doesn't touch a clean cell in the body. That's different from the Foxafor that just kills dead cells. This is actually looking for cancerous cells in the body. So I have like 3 people. We just got it in. We're going to send 1 bottle out to get tested. We're going to wait for the test to come back before we sell it to anybody. I'm going to take a bottle of it. I had some shipped to me. I get it today. I'll wait. I'll do it before the test. I mean, I have confidence in my lady, but for customers, if somebody says, hey, I don't care, I want it before the test, I'll give it to them, you know, stuff like that. But I like to get the test result back in for that. You know, got a Humanin. It's one you add to MOTS that's really even boost MOTS past the next level. So I don't know if I need much next level, but I'm going to take it anyway. Because NAD 5-amino MOTS, that's a super stack for endurance in the gym. Any like, yeah, anybody like in runners, you know, like shaving off time constantly on that stack. And then there's the slew. Did you get the capsules?
No, I only got the 5-amino. I already got NAD 1000. So you gave me the 5-amino, and then I got I started the MOT C with you, which I've been wanting to get MOT C, and my partner usually he makes big orders and stuff. I've been telling him about it. The AOD, tesamorelin 10.
Tesamorelin, that's the king. If you want to attack visceral, the thing is do not take tesamorelin if you are not losing weight, because you're wasting your money. You need to be losing weight to take tesamorelin. Now, if you're on a GLP-1 and you're dropping the pounds, tesamorelin is great. But people take tesamorelin, it's not going to really help you lose that much weight. So it's like you have this scope, this perfect scope, and it's aimed at the perfect target, your visceral fat, that fat around your organs. But you have no bullets in the gun to shoot that fat because you're not losing any weight. So you're aimed at it, and if you could lose any weight, that's where you lose it. So does that mean
that, like you're saying, somebody who's on like a bulk cycle, it's probably better for them not to take that because they're trying to...
they're burning fat. They burn that visceral fat right off to get that midsection right off. Now, if they're on a surplus of calories and they're not losing body fat, now I'm in a surplus of calories and my body fat's dropping, so, you know. But I'm on MOTS, I'm on SLU, I'm on SS31, ipamorelin, tesamorelin. What else am I taking right now? Yeah, I think that's about it for the energy, the really burning. I'm not taking red. I stay away from red.
No, I love that part because I'm training for you've heard of the High Rocks, right? Mm-hmm. I'm training for that in August, the end of August. Yeah. And just extra, I hate cardio, extra leg workouts, just going harder for longer. Normally I get an hour in. Like now like my wife's gone for the next month. I'm going to be hitting these 2-a-days. And just definitely want the more energy.
Are you doing the NAD and the 5-amino?
I got NAD 1000
okay.
and 5. You gave me the 5-amino. I had my own NAD.
The separate, yeah. So you're doing that 5-amino separate. Do you know? We'll talk later about milligrams because might want you to bump up a little bit because, like I said, I'm seeing better results. I do 2 milligrams
and
a day.
And the MOTS, like I said, I think, like you said, the first few days I felt tired. That's gone, and now like yesterday in the gym, like we were doing rows, like, and I'm just like pulling as hard as I possibly can. I could definitely tell I had way more endurance. I'm normally like an hour in. I mean, I go hard. Like I'm one of them people. Like you look around the gym, I'm like, am I the only one in here sweating? Yeah. Like I'm seriously sometimes contemplate why some people go when they're like playing on their phone or like. It's like whatever. That's a whole nother.
Yeah, I'd like to get a workout in with you.
That's where I'm at.
I'm a lightweight guy. I don't like heavy. Everything's about concentration. I like to just lock, like you know, really not lock it, but like, you know, Pump every one of them, and I don't want anything super heavy.
When you're going heavy, you're not getting that in injuries. You're more prone to injury. I'm older now. Like I'm 40.
I don't even do the bench because the bench is too constrained. And I'm 60-pound dumbbells. I get them deep, straight up. As soon as I get that lock point, I tighten it straight back down. Hit me with a set of 12, maybe 14 of them. Put it up. That's it. Curls. I like the superset things towards the end of the workout. Like me, I'm all about like flexing as I'm working out. Like thinking of that muscle contracting and flexing, blood flow into it, and it worked. I showed you the thing where I gained in 24 days 12 pounds of skeleton muscle mass. Yeah, I mean, I got a little extra help with a few other things, but like to do that is like it's very difficult to do. But and I'm and like I say, anyone wants to come in the store though, it's free consultations. You stop in, you come in, we talk. Go over any options you want. I'm working on more like if you are like wanting to do 3 or 4 peptides of giving bigger discounts on the whole package, just so you can make it more affordable and things like that. We're working on people, low dose MOTS, medium dose MOTS, or if you want to do the high dose MOTS, trying to give people options with each things. Let them know, it's not a one size fits all for everybody. Some people need more. Some people can stay at the low, but maybe need to move up to the higher one and things like that. And I'm always available. You call, you got questions, after you buy something, no problem. We talk to you. We go over everything.
Yeah, I think we met at the gym, or I seen you at the fight too.
Yeah. No,
going September 11th, it's going to go down again.
Oh, shoot.
There's a pretty nasty card.
Yeah, I got to get in there. Yeah, no, and that's my whole goal is just like trying to get people healthy. That's it. That's my main thing is like, and honestly though, is because it's better for my business. If I get you feeling better, get you healthy, or get you looking better, what are you going to do? Tell your friends. Then they come in. And then they come in. One person brings in 2.
I'm hooked, man. Ever since you get on that health and wellness journey, and you can see the results, and like, why wouldn't you want to live your life that way? Why wouldn't, dude? Everything about losing weight, like being lighter on my feet, just my joints feel better, my knees feel better, I feel better. Like I get the sleep I'm supposed to get. Who wouldn't want to live that lifestyle? And the thing is, like, the thing that you bring is the information. And there's a lot of misinformation, and people just don't know. So now that we have that and the ability, like you said, the pins. Drawing up, people are scared, like, oh, I'm going to mess it up. I don't know what to do. Like, I've watched 10 YouTube videos. None of them say the same thing.
That pin you've seen is just you screw that needle right on, you inject, put it right back in the fridge. It takes, I'll do 15 shots in a matter of 6 minutes. That's how quick it is. I'm in and out of the house like that. Oh my God, measuring every little bit out and off. And they all come in little cartridges. And then if you need a couple, if like NADs, 2 cartridges, you just swap it out 15 days. We show you how to swap it out. Makes it so much easier. Just, like I said, I like to see the results. And then the in-body scan, I like people getting on there. I want to see, are you losing muscle? Are you losing body fat? Where's your body fat percentage? And I always recommend if they can get in there early on a fast, you're going to get the best results, the most accurate. You got food in the stomach. Sometimes it can alter what is actual fat and muscle because it doesn't realize that. So coming in early, getting on the machines, always the best time, especially as you get going. And then I am working on like if you do want to do more, I'll keep lowering the prices of each peptide to get where you can get that stack. That's the ultimate stack that really works for you, and just try to make it as affordable as possible for people. And the pins, they cost $30, but once you have a pin, you have that pin. If that pin ever breaks, you bring that pin in, I give you a new one. So, and they're reusable, and then every peptide comes with the needle, so you don't gotta go on Amazon, you don't gotta go anywhere, buy no needles. It all comes together. It's a whole kit. You walk out with the bag, you're ready to go. You got questions, you just call us. And there's a lot of peptides that people like Lyme's disease. I've helped people out. I've helped a lady with polio out before, autoimmune issues. We haven't even gotten into those, the LL37s, the VIP, which is great. That's one for people working out too, because it's blood flow everywhere in the body. A lot of people with bowel issues use it for that, but there's a mode protocol that has LL37, VIP, and thymosin alpha 1. If you've ever been experienced to mold, black mold in the lung, has been proven to clear the mold right out of the lungs. And it's just ramping up your T cell count. LL37 is in your saliva. And in your mucus, it's your first line of defense of killing viruses, funguses, anything that enters the body. It's the first thing that's supposed to kill that off. And VIP is getting blood flow to all areas in the body. The one thing with VIP, you start low because you can get this flush feeling because that's blood. But I love it before the gym. It's kind of, why you take certain peptides. You want blood flow, like even like a low dose Cialis. You want that blood flow into the muscle and getting it into the body. So it's like, that's an extra one. I love adding that in there. The pumps are great. You get in the gym, you crush it. But if you've been experienced to mold and you've had mold injuries, I've helped a few people out with that where it's like, change their lives, and then breathing and stuff like that.
Like I worked for a doctor's office that did early stage. This was 7 years ago, like where they just started doing IVs in doctor's offices and stuff like that. And she was real into the glutathione pushes and the silver. We would do
glutathione is amazing too. I take that. I take that constantly. I hit that. Yeah, I have it in the pen. I inject it into the butt. Because it's a little bit painful of an injection because you're putting 1.5 milligrams is in the whole vial. So when you're doing, you're doing like 300 milligrams of powder in a shot. So the more powder that's in something, the more concentrated, it's going to sting a little more. That's why doing it in the vein is good. It's just a lot cheaper. Our glutathione for 1.5 milligrams is what you need to take in a week. Is $60. If you go to IV, it's going to be about $200. They're going to hit it one time in the vein. This one, you're going to take it home and inject it into your butt. You're going to do about 5 injections of about 60 units, pens empty. You got all the glutathione, full detox. And then you could start doing it twice a week as like a maintenance dose. I do it pretty regularly, the full pen in a week. I like to just completely get any of the toxins out of my body, anything like that. I mean, my supplement regimen is insane. I have 2 of these. They're like the big boy supplement holders, Monday through Friday, where they have AM, PM. I have 2 of those because I have an AM at my house, and then I have my AM lunch, and then I have my PM lunch, and then I have my PM at night to take when I get home like that. I'm big in on DIM, boron. What's that?
How long have you been on your fitness journey now? Like where you're...
I mean, it really started about 3.5 years ago. I went carnivore, jumped straight carnivore, 3 months doing that Bikram yoga, lost a lot of weight, great, plateaued around 225. Was doing everything I could not get under that 225 mark, So then I started throwing berries in with the meat, I learned that, carnivore only lasts so long, and then you need that glucose back in your body. You need the antioxidants, you need that. And it does make sense. Like I say, a lot of us body is formed off of longevity of hundreds of thousands of years. There's times where you only got to eat meat, and then there's times that berries and things were coming out, It's like, so the body is like, can go on certain diets for a long period of times, but it does want some other things back in. So I suggest carnivore is one of the greatest elimination diets you can do. Do it for 3 months, get off of it, and then throw in berries, sweet potatoes, things like that, healthy vegetables, farm fresh. Don't get the Walmart vegetables, Eating healthy, eating clean is the most important, getting those, and that's kind of like what I try to do in there. I try to not just say, take these peptides and leave my office. It's more of like, and that's what I get complaints all the time. I have no clue what they gave me. They just told me to take this. Me, I'm like, no, take this, eat this, try to do this, go with this. Maybe start with just these 2 if you want to do a third one. And like I said, now I'm really working on like, hey, if you want to do a real package, I'll cut the price down on everything, make it way more affordable that way. And then I know it's going to work better for them. And then if it works better for them, they're going to have their friends, and their friend might want that package. And I'm not making what I make off of each one if I sell it for full price. But at the end of the day, I make a little something. We get these people healthy. They're feeling good. They get more friends in. I get more business, and I grow the business bigger. So that's, big goal.
Where can people find you? Other than, we got the store. We know that. You got social media.
Yeah, my social media is John Mckay. So JOHN. MCKAY, and I believe it's 6321. And then you can go on there. Let me just.
You got
check.
YouTube? You got anything like that, or?
No, they don't allow us to really do any of that type of stuff. Yeah, so just John Mckay 6321. That's
okay.
my.
We'll put the
Instagram.
link in the bio.
Yeah, that's my Instagram. They can go directly to there and contact me on there.
And then website.
Yeah, our website, we don't have the website up and running yet.
Okay.
We're getting that figured out
By
right
the time
now.
we're probably 2 weeks out before
Okay,
we're,
so we'll have, I'll definitely have it in 2
we'll put
weeks.
it at the link in the bio for that. So guys, check below for that.
Yeah. And then, it's like I said, it's right there next to the Longhorn, right across the mall. You can stop in. I'll get you the phone number to put up in there. So you'll have the phone number in the link. They can give us a call, set up appointments, or just stop in and things like that. And then I'm going to work on some of with the sponsoring with you and stuff like that. And we'll get that going. I want to help with that. I really love what you're doing here and stuff like that.
Thank you, man. It's turned into something I never thought it would turn
No,
into.
it's great too, man. You get people's stories out there, and then people hear stories, and they realize. Like I say, man, I thought the worst thing happened to me was the tearing a tendon. Became the greatest thing that ever happened in my life. Honestly, I can't think of I don't know where my life would have been at that point. Be honest, I was like 4 months behind in rent. I was like bad off, waiting for the grow to harvest some money. The weed wasn't going to be worth that much. It was really rough times up there for a little while, and popped this, and then all of a sudden it turns into me fine. But now I'm doing better than I've really done. I've got 4 stores, the website. I mean, it's stressful, very stressful. But besides that, it's like it's just been a joy.
Building a team, right? Building a team to let that thing work.
I have a great team, but it's just been such a joy of watching people's lives change. I got a lady here. She's down. 130 here. She was getting them from me before. I was sending my friend, but she's down 130. Just showed me the picture. I was like, oh God. And like I say, when I see 130 pounds, I think, what, 10, 15, 20 years maybe added to your life. Honestly, like you look at people,
or how many years of their life that they lived that way, and it was it's not the best quality of life, right?
Not at all. Not at all. 120 pounds extra every time you get out of bed.
Bro,
is just
people don't realize it, and I didn't realize it until I actually had that weight off and realized I could jump higher, do more, was more agile.
So I'll leave it with this: Reta, NAD 5-amino, BPC 157, and TB 500. Those right there, and then GHK. Those are like the top ones. BPC, TB. I mean, if you got injuries, achiness, any problems that has just been bugging you, tennis elbows, things like that, where you just got, it's life changing. And it's short cycles for small injuries, a little longer cycles for more injury, things like that. NAD is just going to be cellular health. You're going to feel more energy, feel better all around, DNA repair, anti-aging. You're going to, honestly, the more NAD in the body, you're going to live longer, less chance of getting cancer in the cells and things like that. GHK is just going to make the hair, skin, make you look younger, make you, have more confidence in yourself and things like that. So
awesome. Awesome conversation, man. I appreciate you, informing us and
well, and maybe we do it again. In a few months, I want maybe get on some things and, have you try a few things and see what you think. And then we can come back on. You're right now really starting the journey. So maybe in like 3 months, let's see what we can do. If I put a package and, follow maybe 3-4 months.
Yes, sir.
Like I say, I'm going to create a new Instagram thing of me working out and things like that. And, kind of showing where I'm at and my progress I'm making.
I can help you with all that too, with like the YouTube and it's just do the fitness stuff, like I said, and we'll definitely it'll go past this.
Okay, perfect, man. Yeah.
Thank you guys for tuning in for another episode of the Discipline and Legacy Podcast. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, comment, drop a comment below. Everything we heard today, we're gonna definitely put everything, all his information in the bio. And thanks for tuning in.